DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Intel, Monster Energy, and U.S. Navy.
We are past the halfway point here in day one of DreamHack Open Anaheim 2020, and we've seen some surprises and some of what we've expected. But this is the match I think some of us have been waiting for. Complexity versus MIBR. I'm your host, Bach. Joining me on the desk all weekend long will be Sean Gares and Potter. Have you guys been looking forward to this one as much as me?
This is a juicy one. I like this matchup.
This is definitely a juicy one. I mean, you can't not be a fan of Complexity. The size disparity between Blame F and Obo. I'm just waiting for them to high five. Yes, I want to see them high fiving all game long.
I feel like not even just Obo to Blame. I feel like everyone on the team, like Obo, Poison, Config, Rush, then Blame. It's like a 12-week workout program picture. Like that's
Before
trying
and
to
after?
scam people. Yeah.
I feel like if he actually high-fived Obo hard enough,
Full
he would
force.
like instantly get some sort of spinal disorder. Like he'd just like throw him out of whack, or like his body would just shift off of his torso. His torso would drop off of his legs, because there is just an insane size comparison between the two. But I'm excited to see this. We'll go ahead and take a look at the group, just so you guys can see what we're looking at here in the bracket in just a second. But we saw the first game go very close, down to the wire, 16-14, with Gen G just edging out ENCE. So if Complexity wins this, guaranteed NA team in the playoffs.
Ooh. I didn't really think of it that way. I mean, I don't even know if I even consider Complexity an NA team anymore, though. I mean, they had to play in the European minor, so.
I'd say they are not an NA team.
They're here.
I know you want to
They
keep them.
started in North America. It's a North American org.
Yeah, I'll always consider Complexity a North American org.
I mean, you gotta love the team too for the passion that Jason Lake brings to the project.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that he's like he's non-apologetic. Remember, they had that tweet that came out right after his team had that loss, and he's basically like, if these guys aren't gonna win, I'm gonna bring in players who will.
Yeah,
Make that juggernaut team.
That's awesome, honestly. The fact that, he's been in CS from the get-go, and he finally got that VC money coming in, and the second he got it, he was just like, I'm gonna dish it out until I get a team that wins. And he's went out all over the world and picked up the best free agents possible, and even bought out people for tons of money, got them to come into Dallas, and he's actually producing results right now, which is so cool.
It is surprising. I think most people, when looking on paper of this lineup, of the juggernaut team that Complexity made, some questions were raised. Is this in fact a juggernaut team? And I think Blast Pro Premiere that just happened a couple weeks ago showcased that it's a little bit of mixture of both, right? I think the first event of the year, we understand that Astralis and Vitality probably underperformed, probably with that first LAN of the year. We just saw Force underperforming a little bit. Is it North that overperformed? Is North back to being a dominant team? So I think those questions will still transfer over to this match, this best of one as well. I don't think we're gonna walk away out of here knowing, yes, Complexity is a juggernaut. So it raises still a lot of questions.
Well, let's take a look at the maps. I have my own personal feeling. I think it's going to go to Inferno or Train, because we were talking about it before. Dust 2 is basically out of the equation.
It could definitely go to either of those maps. It could even go to Vertigo.
Okay,
I mean, both these teams play Vertigo, so I wouldn't be shocked if it goes that way. I don't think we'll see, the new Dust 2.
I thought it would be Train or Dust 2.
Could see a Mirage. No, Mirage is already out. Vertigo
out.
out. We
We're terrible
apparently
at this.
just can't even guess.
suck.
I mean,
Another
shouldn't even bother.
nuke? Surely not.
No,
Okay,
it's Dust 2.
All right,
oh my
I like
God,
it.
The new Dust 2. The new Dust 2.
Interesting.
You don't sound too excited, Sean.
We're about to witness an crime in Anaheim.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what we should expect out of this one, to be perfectly honest. The map, we haven't really seen it played. I personally haven't watched a match played on the new Dust.
I haven't watched a pro match like this played, no, at a LAN event, no. This is going to be something new. I don't know if, I feel like the CTs are going to have to gamble an extra player towards the B side of the map, and then A rushes are going to be really susceptible. Like, they're going to be susceptible to losing A, which is already a hard site to hold. I don't know what the solution is for CTs. I think we're going to see a lot of new jump throw smokes from like CT spawn to stop B rushes, maybe. I have no clue.
I'm good. I can't hear. I've lost sound, guys, so I don't know what you just said, but I'm going to assume you talked about Dust 2 and Complexity. Yeah. I'm excited to see how Complexity turned this Dust 2 around into their favor. We saw at Blast Premier, they had a lot of gimmicky setups. Now, when I say gimmicky, I don't say that in a negative kind of, like, I think it's positive, and I think it's great, the ideas that Complexity brought out. There was a lot of pop flashes, a lot of gimmicky moments where they set Obo up for success in post-plant scenarios. I don't think they're going to be quite as successful coming into this match as they did last week, just because people are going to be aware of it now. They're going to be worried, they're going to be worried, and they're going to be ready.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. When I saw Complexity's performance at Blast, I wanted to make a video about it, right? I wanted to go in and say, this is what Complexity did. What I found out when I watched all the demos back again was they have so many really cool gimmicky ways to enter rounds, like rushes into areas where they're putting out Molotovs with smokes. They're eating, 100 damage in nades, but they're taking control of areas very quickly, and it's very chaotic, right? On a map like Dust 2, with this new B bomb site opening, I guarantee you they're going to have some cool new looks that MIBR is not going to be ready for. I don't think this is a smart choice by MIBR to allow this to come through.
And I really wonder what that B site's going to look like. Like how often? It was already a heavy B site map, in my opinion, and now it's going to be even worse.
It's going to look like a lot of utility coming down.
Well, we did have a chance to sit down with Complexity. Maybe they'll tell us something about Dust 2. Let's take a look.
Completely honest, I think we are the team with the most skill in this tournament. I think a lot of the teams that might be higher ranked than us hasn't been playing that well lately. So if they're not like fixing their mistakes and not starting to play well, then we could for sure get a very good showing. But there is for sure also teams that have proven way more than we have. So it wouldn't be a shame to losing to one of those teams if they're actually coming and showing the A level. As long as we actually know that we are making progress within our team and within our system and how we play, that's the most important thing. But of course, you always want to win. So we have had a lot of preparation and a lot of for different teams, and so we put a lot of stuff into it. But I think the most important is that our coach did most of the prep, and I'm just focusing on the match we're actually playing against MIBR. So we did a lot of prep against them, and yeah, we're ready for it.
You heard it there. They did a lot of prep. Not only against the teams they're facing, but in general. So maybe they did a lot of prep on Dust 2.
I guarantee you they did. And Kita, their coach, who's Blame F is referring to in that interview just now, he's actually a very long-time friend of mine that he used to send me smokes and flashes, and I know he has an insanely cool amount of videos of ridiculous nades that half of the community hasn't even seen ever. So to have a brand new map, I don't want to say Dust 2 is a brand new map, but the way it's going to be played is totally different. He's going to have so many cool, innovative ideas. I'm certain of it, and I can't wait to see how Complexity plays this.
Definitely, and I'm looking at your man here on your screen right there, Config. I think he's had a turbulent career so far, I think most of us can say. Yeah, I mean, a lot of ups and downs and what have you, but I think coming into this Complexity lineup, he's found his home, man. He just looks like the star that he was always meant to be, and hopefully that trajectory, he's able to maintain his road on there, because a lot of the times he's fell off on multiple occasions. So I'm hopeful that Config, we actually are able to see him just bloom and blossom in this lineup.
Yeah, Config is one of those players that you actually love to watch. I mean, some people get a little bit turned off by his cockiness in game, but I mean, there's not many players that would go for a knife. I can't remember if it was at the major on Overpass where he went for that knife in a one-on-one. Everyone just lost their mind that he just does not care. He literally does not care. He has ice in his veins. And that's what makes him so exciting to watch, is you never know what he's going to do.
He's in me mode.
Yeah.
I'm the show right now. It's all about me.
I want to see him
to a certain extent.
Go into the middle of mid on Dust 2 and just shoot his AK for 10 bullets and wait for someone to peek him with half clip.
I feel like
he's the person to do it.
That's certainly a possibility. We did have a chance to sit down with the guys from MIBR as well. Let's take a look.
It's good to be playing another DreamHack. We have played plenty of them in the past. It's a tournament that we like a lot. The expectations for the team for this tournament is to continue our preparation towards the major. So it's going to be good to see where we are at. It's going to be good to see what are the things we need to change and how can we get better to get there at the point we want to be. And also there's going to be a lot of good teams on this tournament. So it's going to be a DreamHack where we're going to face very tough competition, starting from Complexity on the first game we played. And winning this tournament would mean a lot for us. It's been a while since we don't lift a trophy. So there has been a lot of preparation. I think we spent 15 more days on boot camp after last Pro Series. So the team has better stuff to show and it has some new things to try out. And I'm very excited for this tournament just for those things and because I want to get back to the winning path as soon as I can.
You know, he talks about things they need to change in order for this team to win.
They're grinding right now.
They look ready. They look ready to go.
Sitting down is probably high on the list of things to do. But at the same point in time, like you got to respect Gabriel's commitment to this team and this project, but things just have not been working out for MIBR.
Understatement. Absolute understatement. Yeah, this team has had almost no success under the MIBR banner, and it's so sad to see because it's not like Fallen and Fur have like low skill ceilings. Even like Taco, these guys can frag out. Like when I watch them play, they have incredible multi-frags, and the way they play the game is strategically correct, but it just doesn't all come together, and they look sloppy at times. They don't have a deep enough map pool, and they always let Inferno through. They refuse to play Nuke. I guess they got good on Vertigo. We don't know what's going to happen on this new Dust 2. I don't know, there's just so many problems with this lineup. The roles dating back from the start have always been a problem in my eyes. It
definitely has, and I mean, yeah, you're right. It is very heartbreaking, I think, to be an MIBR fan, especially as of late. And when I just think back of MIBR's history, these guys with Tarek and Stewie were getting all the way to OTs and 3 maps versus Astralis, the #1 team in the world. And then all of a sudden, they find themselves here in a completely different landscape. Cloud9 just beat them to make it all the way to Katowice. This is going to be the first time a lot of these players on MIBR are not on the main stage, are not the team with the shining light on them as being like the best team in North America. So they're in a whole different environment, a whole different situation as a team. I don't know that they've been in this scenario before, but they certainly know what it takes to grind and make their way back up to the top. We got to remember, these guys were sharing one bed in a room all together, all 5 players grinding it out, trying to make a name for themselves. So they certainly understand what it takes to be the best. They're just lost, I think, in their approach and how to get back up there.
I mean, we did see Fallen kind of get upset about some words that were shared by, I think it was Semler.
Yeah.
He had said something about the team and their lack of success, and he really took it to heart. So he's very clearly still got his heart in the game and the passion for it. Let's go ahead and start with our predictions. On me, we're not going to start with you.
Hey.
We're going to give you a chance to get a little bit of a catch-up mechanic just in case you can just pick opposite of us. I'm going to go with Complexity. I think that the map being Dust 2 actually doesn't matter that much to me. I was going to pick Complexity regardless, but now that it is Dust 2, I think that gives them even more of a slight edge.
Yeah, I think the map matters a lot to me. Complexity has the better aimers. MIBR, in most of the default heavy maps, would have the better tactics, in my eyes, by far. But on a new map like Dust 2, I think Complexity is going to have like a whole bunch of gimmicks. And I think that is going to heavily favor them in my eyes, those gimmicks.
So you go with Complexity?
Yeah.
Complexity. Okay, I'm also going to go with Complexity here as well. I got to go with Complexity. I'm excited for these guys. In 2020, I have no idea where their ceiling is going to be. You're right, their aim is superb. So I'm excited to see exactly how far they're going to be able to take this.
Watch Poison.
Actually, look at that. 59-41. Still pretty close. Slight edge to Complexity there. I'd say that's kind of where my odds sit internally. I had my scores like 16-12, like still a really close game, regardless of map. Would you agree, or is it going to be more of a blowout, Sean?
I think it could be a blowout in favor of Complexity. I'm going to say, like, yeah, 16-10 or worse.
Christine, do you agree?
You know, I think the beginning of 2020 has shown us that the top players and the top teams that need to show up haven't showed up. So I got to agree, it could very well be a blowout as well.
Well, we are going to throw things to a very quick break, but when we come back, it will be Complexity and MIBR on the new Dust 2. Not sure what to expect. Stay tuned.
Get that boy out of your head. People tell me just to be strong.
Oh, it's a sunny day here in Anaheim, and while things are heating up outside, in the server, Hugo, that's where the real fire is about to be. We've got Complexity versus MIBR going head-to-head on our screens. And I mean, I haven't casted CS in a little while. I've had a couple of months off, and as have you, Hugo. We've both been sat by, and I'm just full of energy. I'm full of beans, and I'm looking forward to getting to our first game today.
Yeah, what a series as well this is going to be, right? Complexity, they have been a starstruck team recently, seeing them at Blast, taking down Astralis. MIBR looking once again to return to the form that we know they can have, but boy, is that going to be a big ceiling to climb towards. Obviously, Dust 2 as well. That's exciting. The first pro Dust 2 game on LAN that I've seen with these new skyboxes towards that B site. Complexity, as Sean said on the desk, have shown a lot of gimmicks, at least in the last few weeks. So I'm excited to see if we've got any cool utility towards that B site.
You mentioned these last few weeks that I really think is very interesting, MIBR versus Complexity, because we have two teams seemingly in like opposite situations, right? For Complexity, it was a juggernaut that was built, that was put together from a variety of names from across the globe, right? And competing on this level, relatively speaking, not the most experienced team in the world, right? They're grinding, they're trying to get there, and as we saw, they get through Blast Premier in that group of death. They beat Astralis. They look so damn good. And then you look over at MIBR. This is a team of legends of the game, people who have been around for so long, and they're trying to get back to that spot that they once were. They're trying to get back into the conversation for one of these best teams in the world. However, they are still a very, very long way from it. And it feels like, if anything, as every week goes by, it gets further and further away.
Yeah, it certainly does, right? Constant roster changes for these guys since their drop-off a couple of years ago. And, you know, we're hoping that they can shine through. But at the end of the day, we've got experienced veterans versus some young guns on the scene, right? Look at Obo, for example, such a new player to this kind of level. And what an incredible pickup as well. Jason Lake really built a God squad. And you know, like Potter said on the desk, we don't know what the high heights of this team is. We don't know where Complexity can reach in 2020. They've already proven they can beat the best in the world. The question is, can they do it consistently?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question we're going to get answered today. And then Hugo, there's more, by the way.
More?
You mentioned that we're going into Dust 2, as though you weren't excited enough. Dust 2 with the recently changed skyboxes over towards that B-bomb site. And now the question starts to go around, well, you know, Fallen's a little bit of a nerd when it comes to his Counter-Strike. You know, Blame F, he might not look like it, but he is the same. And these guys, they love coming up with some new innovative strategies. I think that, you know, when you take a map like Dust 2, a map that has been at the core of Counter-Strike from, you know, the beginning, essentially.
Over 20 years.
Yeah, one of the most iconic maps, if not the most iconic map in gaming, and you make these changes to it, it is going to be interesting, no matter what. You know, what have these guys come up with in these couple of weeks off?
I think one thing that's exciting to talk about as well, coming into especially a Dust 2 series, is the AWP play, right? Of course, when you look at like MIBR, you've got so much AWPing potential. Think about the AWPs on this team, right? KNG, Mayan, Fallen, even Taco in the past has shown himself to be really, really good with that gun. And you look in Complexity, of course, Poison has been an absolute talent to watch, but you know, they haven't really got the same depth of having multiple AWPs that can play at such a high level. I think that's one thing that certainly plays into the hand of MIBR coming into a map such as Dust 2, where especially on the CT side, you're going to see double AWPs very frequently when the money is there.
Oh, well, I got some good news for you, Hugo. I know you're a man who loves a game that's getting underway, and you won't believe what the news is. This game's about to get underway. Everything's readied up. The server's looking good. MIBR versus Complexity. Dust 2 is the setting. And we're setting the scene here as we head on in to our first map of the day.
And what I see already is a beast spawn for MIBR in this pistol round. They've got a bunch of utility, and they're sending 3 players straight into the tunnels. So we might get to see what we wanted all game long.
All game long.
Yeah, all game long. It's been a while, Harry.
All 15 seconds of it thus far. And we've been waiting to see this B play come in, and so help me, it will. There's a bunch of players here for MIBR, but they actually now start to creep through those lower tunnels. You can see Config is the man responsible for holding on to mid. It's a pretty deadly day in his Config, but he gets flashed out, and that's allowed MIBR to work themselves forward here, get this little foothold in middle, and now the pressure is on Obo, Config, and Blame F. But this 3-man stack that can do damage, and it's finding exactly that through the double doors. Fallen's brought down low, and now he's the only man left. This gets torn apart. Complexity have got the read, and they hit the shots with some speed. They'll get that pistol round locked in, Hugo.
They were so ready for that as well. Triple B setup for Complexity. Obviously, Config spotting mid, but as soon as that pop flash comes in through the doors, he straight backs up, joins in with his team, and there's just too many players for MIBR to split towards that site. Kind of an obvious read as well, right? First round, taking those blocks towards B is definitely going to be more favorable than fighting USPs up on positions like long and short, but now MIBR, they've got a bit more range in the game. Deagle's out, a scout on Fallen, and Complexity, you know, they're not taking any risks here, Harry. They're going straight in for rifles in round number 2, really wanting to convert this. It's a fast cap play for MIBR. Poison got to hit some shots, but he's missing, and Mayan will take him down. Blame F retreating to the spawn, and Config's been painted up with damage as well. This is a great opportunity for MIBR to get a bomb plant and see what they can do.
Yeah, now they're going to have a great chance to do some damage here in this post plant, right? That bomb goes down for short. That's the area that MIBR have control of right now. And there's no defuse kit for Complexity. So if you're in this makeshift North American squad, you got to start getting a move on now. Taco over here at short, the first man to get dealt with by Complexity, and another one now followed up. But man, Fur not keen on letting them back into this bomb site just yet. KNG playing around the smoke, and it's just Config left. Fallen takes matters into his own hands, so you don't even have to rely on KNG there, who is still in the bomb site, by the way, still just sneaking around past that lone gunman for Complexity. And MIBR, they're going to snatch that round away. They get one under their belts almost immediately. That A play yielding some results early for the Brazilians.
Yeah, I love the pace that MIBR are showing, right? You can't afford to not have confidence coming into this game, even if Complexity have proven themselves to be really, really good as of late. And MIBR able to get up cat with, you know, no utility for Complexity. That's a shot from Poison. In through the doors, bomb dropped, Fallen's out of the round. He has been painted up with damage as well, but Config's here in the middle, and he's found a further advantage, looking for more, hungry for a 5-on-2, but instead he'll fall back and play safe. Complexity with a huge man advantage in this round, and the question is, how the hell did MIBR get out of this one?
I can't believe we're already seeing this back and forth. I can't believe we're already getting it, but we are. And MIBR, are they going to let that go on any longer, right? They start to get this catwalk control again. It worked for them in that last round, but this time, I mean, the circumstances are just so different, right? You're sat down in a 3-on-5, and you've got to get past Poison. That's that first hurdle you've got to try and overcome. Now, thankfully, he's low on health, but this double stout setup is going to hit as hard as an AWP, and that there is Taco found over on short. These scouts are lighting up the server. And it should be all said and done for old mate Mayan. I mean, you really got to feel sorry for him here. He's getting wrapped from every single angle. Complexity, they go flawless. They look at MIBR winning that force in the round prior, and they go, all right, anything you can do, we can do just that one step better.
Yeah, it's scout meta right now, Harry. Working out for Fallen, working out for Poison. Both his kills through a wall and a headshot as well. So that's what you love to see. I can't wait till those orbs come out as well. But of course, MIBR, they don't want to let this one slip too easily. They're going to force right back in. It's a battle of investments here, but if Complexity can find a 3-1, that's when we'll see MIBR take an eco, and that's where these CTs could really get off to a lead. MIBR don't want to give it away too easy. Although it didn't matter in the previous round, Rush actually flanked long very, very fast. He pushed himself inside of those doors, so he's waiting to do the same once again. Close position for him. There is a smoke down. He had support in the form of Poison, who is coming back on the car with that scout to try and assist. That grenade could do significant damage, but just avoided around the corner. Actually, it will rather. Fur and Mayan getting put down low. This scout ready to tag up a player, and Rush ready to finish off the job on the corner.
They will check for him, but even as they do, even though they know he's here, what can you do? He's just getting tagged down. I don't know how he's gotten out of that one, really. Like, there's not really a world in which he should have been allowed to get away with it, but he has. And now, you know, 5 versus 3, Complexity, they're rubbing their hands together. They're feeling good. And now they've got the bomb in mid. Obo is looking for a little bit more, but that is actually what leads to his demise. Regardless, that bomb is still out in the open. It's a long way from home, and MIBR, they're just looking to do damage at this point in time. They know that they're not able to find anything in this round. And so far, I mean, what, 14 points of health? Let's see what he can do with this P250. I don't imagine it's much.
You know, not that it really matters in this situation, but Obo's like the bomb magnet. He kills Fallen in mid, and that bomb just goes flying towards him, catapults into middle. So fully under the control of Complexity, and they've not even moved to try and play it. They know that Fur has no chance in this round, and they may as well just hold standard positions. He gets killed on long. Rush finishing off the job and getting away with an AK as well. Complexity now in control of the economy and the lead. MIBR, their force buys have not paid off, and they've got to take an eco. It's Glocks across the entire team here. A smoke on Fallen. Taco goes for a P2, but this is not a pretty city for the Brazilians.
I mean, they get that catwalk smoke in. They're going to try and get close with these pistols, right? So they've at least found like a good ground to maybe get something done with. But ultimately, man, it's just Glocks and that one P250 at the end of the day. Anything you can get here if you're MIBR, be it a kill, be it wasting utility, be it getting that bomb down, is a victory in and of itself. And so the fact that they get one, maybe they can get into the bomb site, but Poison's just not having any of it. This scout, the bomb's falling down. It's a disaster. MIBR, they get shut out of A, and rightfully so, right? They come into that with nothing. Yeah. They shouldn't have been allowed to find anything. So Complexity, they get a leash back on them nice and quickly. And now we've got this buy for MIBR. This is, we're 6 rounds deep, and this is our first full buy versus full buy. And even then, it's kind of garbage full buy.
Yeah, I mean, on both sides, right? Still scouts in play. Obviously, those are proven to be effective, but no AWP in round number 6 here. And oh my God, Poison! Give him a chance. Fallen, he's going to strip it right back, though. Gets the trade through the door. It's wall bangs. Equal ways, 4-on-4 straight into this round. That's a good situation for MIBR. They should be more than happy with this. It's going to spread the defense thinly for Complexity. One man towards that B bomb site. Config getting caught falling back in middle, and as that smoke fades, Fallen will find the frag. He's upgraded to the Krieg of Taco. Mid now being given away. MIBR know that B has got to be the object of their desires. 2 players still on that A side of things, trying to rotate in. Rush has gone aggressive on the catwalk, but will they be too late to this one?
Yeah, a lot of this kind of hinging on whether or not Obo is able to catch wind and what these 2 A players over at the A bomb site can do. And with that kill coming in now onto Rush, Complexity's hope of winning this round should be out the window with it.
That's so unfortunate. Obo knows he's getting mid to B split, and so he goes in to kill Fallen in mid, but by that point, Fallen, he doesn't commit to the mid position. His team get B site under control, and Fallen just holds lower. Obo eventually gets the kill that he's been hunting for, but in the process has given up the B site, and MIBR are bomb planted in B. That's a done deal. That's a finished round, and that's going to be their second taken.
Yeah, it's good that MIBR are getting on the board nice and early though, right? I did not want this to be a blowout match by any stretch of the imagination. I wanted MIBR to come to this DreamHack. Like, let's be real, right? For MIBR, if they're wanting to become like this great team again, this staple in the Counter-Strike world, these are the events where they kind of need to be making these deep runs, right? These are the ones where you can't really settle for anything other than playoffs at like a bare minimum if you're MIBR. And that really is a bare minimum, right? Like, looking at this, MIBR, I wanted them to come into this feeling confident. And so they get this second round on the board. I'm hoping they can start to build things up now that that momentum's going their way. Buy back in for Complexity, and now we have these AWPs coming through. One of those is going to be on Config, the other on the back of Poison, as we would expect. Now, he was a menace over towards mid in this round prior. This time, he's back at that A-bomb site where he so often finds himself here. With the scoped rifle, he's going to be looking towards catwalk. Mid presence taken from Taco, and oh dear, he's found 2. CT's open. There's the rotation in from Config with that secondary AWP, and even while he gets 1, even though he's whittled down the numbers a bit, is it going to be enough? Maybe that kill there, maybe that kill from Rush tempts Complexity to make this retake happen 3-on-3.
Yeah, it's such a huge kill at MIBR. Once they got those 2 frags over towards the A site, they knew that, Max Complexity had 1 player towards A, but Rush takes down 1, and Config's come back up through the catwalk. This retake is well and truly underway. Man advantage back for Complexity. That smoke from Config allows them to push closer and get out into the open, and Fallen's had his head removed. Rush, quick shot with that Krieg. He took it from the body of the player he killed in middle earlier. Fur has to do it alone, but he can't get a kill, and Rush finds 3 in the round. What a performance from him. This long aggression that we've been seeing already time after time, finally paying off for Complexity, and in a big way. A 5th round with only a few seconds left on that defuse. MIBR, they may have got the bomb down, but the money is still not going to be too great right now. They can afford a buy, but it's certainly not going to be full.
We've got enough money on KNG to bring the AWP out, and we haven't seen one of them yet. So I'm hoping, but we're not going to get to see it. It's just scouts here again for MIBR. Couple of Kriegs purchased up around it.
You know, it's great to see Rush performing so well as well in this team, because he was kind of left on the wayside after the Cloud9 major win and then the disband after that. Right, not one of the bigger names in the roster that you would at least say while looking at it, but right now he is showing that he should not have been left out, Harry. Proving his value, proving his worth, and back into a 4-on-4 in round number 8. MIBR getting back control of middle. There's only one player on B, that's Obo again. He can't afford to lose his sight considering he has no support. BlameF trying to come in to make his life easier.
Complexity, they've been pretty heads up at these reads on MIBR, and they're one step ahead in this round as well. BlameF beginning that rotation into middle, finding the kill onto KNG, and now an extra man can rotate over. Obo's done a lot of damage. BlameF is going to be the only man here to try and make a difference. If he goes down, it's a 2-on-2, but BlameF getting one before he's dealt with now leaves Mayan alone in the clutch.
Great flashbangs as well from Blame. He fully blinds both players coming in through the tunnels there. Gets himself a free kill off the back of it. And like you said, damage being done across so many of these players by Obo and even Blame in that spray as well. Mayan, he has a very difficult clutch and he's going to need the ace in this round to win it. Easier said than done. Complexity aren't giving him a thing either. They're double wrapping the tunnels and that's the last thing he would expect. 30 seconds, no rush for the plant, but he's going to stick in the numbers. Has a smoke, where does he choose to use it? Complexity are creeping up, he spotted them, he knows, but the headshot's there and Poison's closed out the round. Complexity, a clean retake in this one, and they just continue putting up numbers on the CT side.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel a bit bad for poor old KNG at this point. He just can't seem to catch a break. He's gotten off to a bit of a rough start here over on the MIBR side. And this is a map that we talk about, dominated by AWPers, at least usually so, and you've already got MIBR struggling to field those early. KNG yet to get a kill. Fallen is, you know, topping the charts alongside Mayan, but it's not like worth talking about at this point in time. They haven't actually shown us enough just yet. They've gone for this buy once again. They've thrown some investment into this round. They will try and run the gauntlet through mid. Now, Config spotted that first man, decides actually now to leave middle and sets himself up over in the window. He's going to keep an eye on this mid to B split. MIBR, they've been keen on doing that a couple of times now. But Catwalk is the object of their desire. They're going to grab that. All these players moving up into position. No one here for Complexity to keep an eye on this. Just as I say that, we've got Poison moving back into position here. This time he's playing over at Car, not on that A ramp. MIBR, are they going to be ready for this sneaky man's reposition? Actually, he's just gone back to where he always is. He loves it here. Yeah,
this is where the value of utility comes in, though, for Cat takes. MIBR throwing in double smokes, and that's going to conceal the position as they start to run up towards Poison. They molly his spot. He's got to be forced back. He can't see a thing through those flames, and the flashes are even more effective at blinding him. He's going to have to hold. That scope maybe getting heard by the MIBR players who sit close on the site, but a quick shot from Poison. Can't find the follow-up. Only damage done to Fur. The bomb's been planted, but the kills are all coming up blue. Complexity in a 5-on-2. This is done. It's just Mayan left, and another clutch that might just be slapped out on the wayside. He's got a 1-on-5 to complete. There's 2, but it's not enough. And the retake again for Complexity. Absolutely no problem with giving away these bomb plants. They have been so good once the bomb is down.
And that's scary, man. Like, Dust 2 is a map you don't want to be giving away bomb plants like that, especially over towards that B bombs. Like, they've had no problems retaking that. They haven't been tested over here at A either. These last, 4 bomb plants coming in and 3 of them getting retaken from Complexity. It's setting a bit of a worrying tone here. At least, you know, in the scope of this matchup, right? Complexity looking like they could just walk away with this one if MIBR don't find their footing soon. If they don't give us something like tangible just to hold on to, right? Just to kind of put our hopes on.
Well, this could be it.
SB play, maybe. Maybe they try and go at it fast. They had 4 players spawn towards this side of the map, but they've slowed right down. Utility's gone in towards the upper tunnel. They don't want to go running through that. Ooh. Obo looks a little curious as to what's going on here.
I like that molly as well, because you know teams are going to be setting up grenades in the B tunnels, and you know that's not going to stop a rush, but you might hear damage tick, you might stop a dude lining up a smoke in a new position, right? So that molly from Obo, trying to gather information, trying to ascertain whether MIBR are playing for that B site. And while they were at the start, nothing presenting itself, they're going to take control back towards Cat. This has not been a position that Complexity have fought for. They've had such a good job of Poison holding on from the car or from the site with that AWP, and so no reason to stop doing that. Lulling MIBR into a false sense of security with these post plants and then taking them away. It's a fake though. Flashes up towards that A site and a drop quickly into middle. It's a mid to B split.
Obo able to isolate the first man, now trying to tuck himself in. He's lost his buddy, he's lost config, he's lost his friend, and now backstabbed by KNG, who will, if I'm not mistaken, put his first kill up on the board, and that's a pretty big one to find. Obo not able to reposition here. Man advantage now in the hands of MIBR. They get that bomb over. Poison didn't spot the man. Throwing that one over the scope. Bomb plant now found, and if you're Complexity, you've been fantastic in these retakes, so it's going to feel a little bit sour, but a 3-on-4 retake of that B bomb site, that just so very rarely happens, so they decide to give it up.
I think the biggest thing as well is no utility here for Complexity, right? If you have those mollies, you can clear out positions like Plat. If you have a smoke, you can smoke tunnels from the doors. You can flash your team back in. Well, they have none of those options available to them, and considering they don't have a wealth of cash left in the reserves, there's no reason to throw away these guns, and what will eventually put you onto an eco round if you don't win it. So they play the numbers game, and that is the right call to make. Give MIBR a third round. Give them the respect they demand. But it's still going to be a long road to victory here for the Brazilians, who only just find their first rifle round. Only winning those early force buys at the start. Complexity, though, still got enough money to buy thanks to saving those 3 guns, so it's going to be okay for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? We look at MIBR right now, it's Mayan and Fallen making all the difference, right? The rest of the guys are just kind of grouped up down there at the bottom. And, T-side, you can kind of get away with that. You can have these players creating space. It's this second half where if you haven't recovered, if you haven't kind of sorted this out and have everyone on a level playing field, that you're really going to start to feel the burn of these struggling couple of guys. Nade not quite finding the damage we thought it would, but Obo's now got his eyes primed on the tunnels. Lines up one. He's gonna get pushed forward here. It's getting a bit dangerous, but here's some help coming in from middle. Does get shut down by Fallen somehow, some way. It's the 3v2 retake, and Complexity, they've been loving these. They didn't get to give it a go in the last one, but this time they've got utility. They've got the man advantage. Now they want to try and get into this B bomb site to top it all off.
Yeah, they're lucky that it's an early play for MIBR. That's why they haven't wasted all these smokes and all these Molotovs coming back in. But this position from Fallen could grab a kill. A trade has to be found off of this frag if Fallen does get the advantage back. And there it is. He's running for the hills. They're going to try and chase him down. Mayan's looking the wrong way, and he's not ready for all 3 players. I'm loving this from Complexity. I've never seen a team so eager to group up in the tunnels every time they go for this B retake. Usually coming in from those choke points of door and window can be so difficult. But, just trading their way through tons and winning every single time. It's an 8th round taken by this CT side.
This is like a great example of those gimmicks, as Sean Potter called them over on the analyst desk, right? That is saying how Complexity do have these rather unique ideas, and these are things where I feel like they'll catch your opponent off once or twice. If you keep doing that, if that becomes your go-to at retaking through tunnels, well then it can be very easy to isolate that. But early on, while MIBR are struggling, this is the time to throw stuff like that in. And I think that's what Complexity have impressed us all with the most, right? They know when to throw these. Oh dear. Oh, Mayan's wearing body armor. I mean, he is, literally. But he's going to get away with somehow doubling up here. Both kills found over at long. He goes from getting double naded to double frags. And now this long control is taken for MIBR, a heavy man advantage, and it's all on the back of one man.
Look at KNG as well. He's creeping in through the B tunnels right now, and Complexity, they've got to gamble. They've seen numbers towards A, so they've left this B site. Obo's gone on a long rotation, and Poison, he's watching in towards middle as well, so KNG, he's cleared out B. He's asking his team to wait for him to get this kill, but the timing, it could play against him. He's scoped. Oh, Poison gets caught, but he's stuck at the back of the site. KNG spamming towards CT, and he's down. Poison's opened up an opportunity here for Complexity, and MIBR now have to just throw everything at this A site. Obo ready and waiting. 12 kills to his name. The flash up, going back in for more. MIBR being stalled.
Obo's buying time, and in the meantime, Config has gone on one hell of a journey, wrapping on in, but all they've turned on him, they've dealt with the man in the back, but it's Obo still in the front line, still doing damage, and he's looking for magic number 4. Obo's gonna get them all, and this A bomb site belongs to him. Complexity, they're gonna get a 9th on the board. MIBR, they thought Mayan had done enough. They thought they had that round dead to rights. And Obo's going to make them regret every decision they've ever made.
Get schlattered, Harry. What a genius. 16 years old, and this guy is absolutely throwing MIBR out of the server. These are multiple major winners here, Harry. And this young gun is making them look like, you know, matchmaking players. What a fantastic performance from Obo. 9-3 for Complexity. MIBR feeling the pressure, and they are going to call in a quick tactical timeout. Their first of this game so far. What a pickup. I mean, you know, I'm just so impressed at Obo. He held his own versus Astralis. He held his own in those blast groups, and now he's doing more than that here.
I think, you know, he's in kind of like, at least from the outside looking in, it seems like he's in an all right spot of like a team where you've got some pretty damn big personalities in there. You know, you've got the likes of Config. You've got major winner in the form of Rush. You've got, you know, Blame F, who seems like a pretty loud, proud guy as well when he's in the server. And I think as a result, you know, Obo coming into this, they can kind of mold him. They can kind of be like these very encouraging figures. And he's looking so comfortable. Rush is no exception to the rule. He doubles up over at long early in this round. MIBR once again trying to play things fast. And that's another time that it comes back to punish them.
Rush has been playing that blue position a lot in this half, and he tucks just so he can see a pixel gap at the doors, but he's avoiding flashbangs. That's the crucial part there. MIBR throwing utility. He's not getting blinded, and he's getting away with multiple kills. I really love that spot from Rush. I've not seen that used before. Either way, trades coming in up on this A site, but they're not favorable for MIBR. Still stuck in a 2-on-4. And again, Complexity giving away a plant, giving the respect to MIBR, knowing they can win this retake. They're just going to fall away from the A site and let MIBR get that bomb down, but they'll be coming in in a 4-on-2.
Oh, and I mean, I would love to have a bit more hope in MIBR here. We've got to see something spectacular. They've been struggling when they've had man advantages, let alone when they're sat at the disadvantage. And I mean, yeah, you can even hear it. There's just bullets raining in from everywhere. What do you even do if you're MIBR there? You're getting shot from more positions than you can physically look at between the two of you. And that's a 10th round for Complexity. Easy as that. They're making very quick work of MIBR here. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. If anything, it makes me that much more excited for what this Complexity squad can continue to churn out, both here for the rest of this event and in the future.
Yeah, I mean, if Complexity win this game as well, they're going up against Gen G, who managed to win that comeback match versus Ents earlier on Nuke. In my head, I'm going, wow, a North American matchup, but of course, Complexity, you know, only 2 American players. It feels weird, but, you know, either way, it's the battle of the NA Orgs, I guess. Config in middle, 1-for-1 early on. Complexity going to be re-aggressing up on Catwalk. Blame F is going to be coming in on this backstab, but if he drops, he will be heard by Fallen, or Taka rather, just below the smoke. Oh, Blame waiting for it to fade. He's got the drop on him. Now they know it's a B play. Obo again trying to hold his own, but those flashes are fantastic, and Fallen's going to find another wallbang shot. 3-on-3. A retake the Complexity are certainly tempted by, but the issue is they're going into the last round of the half and they don't have the money. Plenty of utility. Definitely going to be worth a shot, but if they lose it, it's going to have grave consequences moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where if they get out of here with 2 weapons, they should be okay. So you can afford to, like, you know, have a look in. Oh my goodness, no. That's not how this was meant to happen. KNG's been burnt out, and now they drip out in through the window. They've gotten down into their sight. Fallen's trying to keep an eye on it, and the first man's been dealt with. 2 players stacked here. Will they be ready for Mayan? He's hit in Fallen's body, but Poison is 1 step ahead. He's homed in, and there's just enough time left for the defuse as well. Complexity are going to get the job done.
What a read!
Oh, I mean, it was messy, it was sloppy from the MIBR side. I like the idea of double stacking at car, but somehow, as you say, Hugo, Complexity were 1 step ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how Poison reads that at all, right? That was a tunnels plant. There definitely could have been a player waiting in the tunnels for that bomb and just baiting his team, but Mayan hiding behind the car and completely caught out of position by Poison. Great, you know, heads-up play from such a young player as well, you know, and such an inexperienced player on this kind of stage. Complexity showing that, you know, experience isn't everything. They've got the guns. Blame F certainly does. 11-3. And last round of the half, MIBR fast play towards Catwalk. They've been here time and time again, but this Orb has also been in position. Missed shot from Poison as the Molotov pushes him back. He's going for a couple, but he can't see a thing here, and he's even getting tagged from that cat corner. Obo can try and support, but he's got no utility, and Poison eventually dropped. MIBR should be able to get a bomb plant.
Oh, but as you say that, Rush, who's been so good over it long, you know, we've been saying that every time we've seen him, he does turn around in that moment and catches a man coming in through the long doors. It's KNG to go down once again. Really cannot seem to catch a break, and that has now opened up this 4-on-4 for Complexity. This is where Fur and his position on Catwalk and this flank could do everything for MIBR. That's maybe Fallen beats him to it. Fur comes in for the backstab, catches one, and it's only Rush. And now Obo left. I mean, yeah, they get cut down instantly. So this one's all said and done. That half is over, Hugo. MIBR, they're able to salvage 4 rounds, narrowly so. Complexity leading with 11. And, I mean, it's looking like a Complexity game. We'll be back with the second half to see if that's the case after a quick break. Stick around.
Put your hand in mine, we'll make it. And you can have my heart on one condition, you don't break it. Give me all your love, don't take it. Leave your fears behind, we'll make it. And you can have my heart on one condition, you don't break it. You don't break it. Give me all your love, I'll take it. Put your hand in mine, we'll make it. This could be for the rest of our lives, yeah. Leave your fears behind, don't fake it. Just one more chance, we'll make it. It's you and me for the rest of our lives, yeah. If you want this heart now, baby, give me all your love, I'll take it. Put your hand in mine, we'll make it. And you can have my heart on one condition, you don't break it. Give me all your love, and leave your fears behind, we'll make it. And you can have my heart on one condition, you don't break it. Give me all your love, put your hand in mine, we'll make it. You can have my heart on one condition, you don't break it. I'm yours if you don't break it. Give me all your love, you don't break it. You don't break it. Give me all your love, I'm yours if you don't break it.
Nothing is looking too complex for this North American and European mix. Complexity right now, 11-4 up at the end of the first half. What an incredible CT side from them. Winning so many retakes as well, Harry. Only 2 bomb explosions for MIBR. Those were saves for Complexity over on that B bomb site. And now they're going to be moving over to the T side. We didn't really see too many flashbangs thrown in over those B halls.
No.
That's something we were expecting a little bit more here for this opening game, but maybe MIBR didn't have that up their sleeve. That could be something that Complexity are bringing to the table.
Yeah, if you did miss that first half, you know, as Hugo just said, it was 11-4 in favor of Complexity. And initially, it got off to what looked like was going to be a competitive start, right? You had MIBR stealing that force buy away in the second. Then they immediately go ahead. Okay, yeah, they lose the round after that, and then they have to just give a couple up because of the economy. But then they come straight back in with another round. You know, that's that 2-4. That's very recoverable. It never really improves from that point onwards, though. They just get a couple of one-and-done rounds here and there. It has to change here and now, and it might just start with this mid play. They push players into the faces of Complexity, and oh dear, in the flank, Obo actually does get deleted. Myers found himself a double, and with that, he's somehow flipped this entire round on its head. Rush has taken up position where his 2 teammates have tried and failed, and he faces the same fate as well. And now, Playmeth, Poison, 2 versus 3. They do get KNG at the very, very least. But they've still got the odds stacked against them. 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock. Complexity, what can they do?
Mayan has looked like an absolute tank so far this game, Harry. Even though it's not really shown through for many rounds from MIBR, he's had, 3Ks quite a lot across this T side, rather. I like this setup for Complexity. They at least spot that mid push from Poison holding passive, but all those shots being whiffed and Maya just getting those quick taps off puts MIBR in a great position, and it could get worse. Taco's not playing in towards that B site. Timing is everything. Complexity are walking in through the tunnels right now. If Taco can double back and at least get a kill here, considering Poison is down to 3, it would only take a single bullet. Question is he ready for it? He does get ducked back in through the window, at least ready for a quick rotation, but here come Complexity.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if past this first contact, Taco doesn't even really face, right? Like, he's going to get that kill, and now he knows the last man's low. He's feeling it. He's looking for this, and he wants to get this pistol round locked in for MIBR. It's not the prettiest 3v1 you've ever seen, but Poison's time on this earth should be limited. He taps the bomb, he tries to bait the peak, and there it is. Taco's going to cement it. Mayon with 3, Taco with 2, and a 5th round for MIBR as they get that CT pistol under their belt now.
And I mean, you know, if you're MIBR here, that's a fresh breath of air, Harry. They realize they're back in the game. They win the pistol. As long as they can convert these anti-force buy rounds, then they should just be all fine and dandy. Force buys are, you know, pretty lackluster, I'd say, on the T side of Dust 2, but Complexity with a big lead and a lot of confidence are going to go for it anyway. They've got loads of utility, few deagles, Poison's on that scout. We've already seen how effective that can be, and Blame hasn't realized how deep Fur's got, and that grenade could do significant damage, and it will not. Blame just avoiding it in the nick of time. Iron's fallen back towards that A site as well, with Fur supporting on Catwalk, and Complexity still getting challenged in middle quite heavily, but will this come back to bite MIBR? Fur's been tagged by the scout, Fallen's pushed up on long, so decent position from MIBR in this round at least.
If we could go to Rush, he doesn't know it, but he is like aiming at Fallen through. If he, look, man, he was right on him, but maybe.
He's heard that tap.
Yeah, he knows. He knows he's got away with something. I feel like I'm one step ahead right now. Rush, still looking at Long, but he's not going to get the kill. He's going to fall back. He actually rejoins the rest of the team down here over at the B side of the map. He's bought that bomb round, and now that mid-take looking to come in. KNG trying to deny it. That smoke is down, so these players in CT can't really offer any help to their brethren at the B bomb site. KNG narrowly gets taken down there, but Taco's not missing a beat. He's on to a 3rd, and the round draws to a close. MIBR, they're going to get a 6 now up on the board. They make quick work of that force buy from Complexity, with Taco now starting to arrive on the scoreboard, and him holding down that B bomb site time and time again. This is where MIBR could try and turn this second half around.
Yeah, you know, a bit of a different change from MIBR. The Complexity didn't really show in the first half. They were so ready for that B play because they had not only Fallen pushed up in those long doors, but also cat control taken by Fur. That gives you so much info that you know Complexity, all they have is mid and B. That leaves them with, what, A mid to B. So good read from MIBR, and Complexity, you know, at least on the CT side, they didn't really play for Catwalk. They were fine with giving away those A plays because they had that AWP or the scout on the car. Something that MIBR didn't really show in that previous round, but now they do. Fallen's taken that weapon. Complexity holding a very, very passive eco round. They know that they can use this for 2 things. One, the chance to take almost a tactical pause, right? The existence, the chance to plan their next upcoming rifle round, but also knowing that MIBR do and can play aggressively. They can wait for that. But no one here from the CT side wants to give away the advantage, considering their scoreline is so low. But down middle for Fur, double peak with that M4 is going to be significantly better. The Glock eventually takes him down, but KNG has swung in for support. He's had a rough game, but that's going to be a couple of confidence-boosting kills to get him back in the swing of things. 7-11 now. Guns coming back out for Complexity, their first rifle in this half.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we can see KNG, you know, keep improving, keep finding his footing again, because it doesn't feel right, you know. He's just kind of been, we've all been there, you know, you're playing a game at home and you're in the game and you're just kind of going through the motions, and you know what that looks like, you know what it feels like, and it's not great. And so getting those couple of kills, I'm hoping we can see him return to the confident young man that he usually is. Poison set up with an AWP over here in the tunnels early. Now that smoke's going to block off his line of sight. Noise being made by Config draws out a bit more utility here from Taco. And that's worth its weight in gold for Complexity. They're going to take that all day long, right? He's been so good at that B side of the map, so you want to leave him as high and as dry as possible over at B.
Oh dear. Ooh. KNG hits a banging nade on Config, and then Fur even follows up with a little more tickle damage. Takes him down to 30. If you notice, Rush got a very good position early in the round here for Complexity. He snuck out through those doors. MIBR have not been playing for it. Instead, they've got Mayan on the site spotting. This is a significant lack of control towards A, and MIBR know that Complexity likely have this long position, so they've got to be careful. Mayan's waiting for the close peek. The molly on the car goes down, but nothing to be forced out. Poison, in the meantime, with a flashbang, is dropped into the pit. He can now hold down these lines of sight and let his team creep up towards A.
Rush, first man in. Flashbang for him. Oh, it's not great. It's not great. Everyone's blind. No one can see anything, but it's Mayan to get the first here. Flame F, now it's his turn to step up to the plate. We'll deal with the first man. Mayan falling. They're not quite ready for the second inside of the bomb site, but they're still able to deal with him. Configs wrapped around.
Oh, no!
Will shut him down, however. It's Blame F in this clutch. A 1v2 required. 10 seconds by the time that bomb's tapped on in. And now the timer starts again. It's MIBR on the clock. Blame F not budging from inside of this bomb site. This man is a tank, but right now he's got to play this like a full-on DPS. He's got to try and shut these players down. One by one, they've split up. They've given him these individual engagements. Time is ticking away. MIBR, this isn't gonna be as easy as they might. Oh no! There's the lineup. Blame F gonna get all the players in that retake. 4 for him as he finishes that round off, and Complexity at 12th on the board. A 1v2 made to look a little too easy by Blame F inside of this bomb site.
I like the jump, I love the attempt from Fallen. It's optimistic, but 1 in a million it does land, but the issue is there. That just means Blame knows the timing. He knows exactly how close those players are. He instantly flicks back down towards the ramp to kill Fallen, and luckily he kills both players as they line up. If Fallen doesn't go for that jump, there's a chance that Blame F is still pivoting, still swapping positions, still looking long or catwalk like he was. A sentry turret on that A site just spinning. Instead, Fallen, well, he draws Blame's attention and the bullets just go flying through MIBR. It's a 12th round for Complexity. It's their first in this second half, and coming off the back of a 4K from the in-game leader. What a round, and that's going to be a rough one for MIBR. They do have the money for the AWP here, but apart from that, it's a pretty weak buy, all things considered. 2 SMGs, a pistol on Fur, and Complexity with a chance to close this game sooner rather than later.
Ooh. There's the spot, there's the kill. Mayan, once again, the man to open this round up. He's getting challenged though, and there's just too many players. He's gone too deep. He's so far behind enemy lines. And they overrun him, but this bomb has been dropped by the rest of his team regardless. KNG brought down low, but he will get one back in response. And now it's only Poison left. While he does have Pit, he doesn't have a bomb, he doesn't have teammates. He's got to do all this alone, and they've seen him. First kill found. Surely not. Surely that's it. Surely this is where things come to a close for Poison, and MIBR continue ahead with an 8th. But he's looking to do everything in his power to stop exactly that. KNG missed his shot from inside of the bomb site just moments ago. Poison looking for this kill. KNG, oh, in with the piece. Both players miss. And Poison, not anticipating the repeat, tries to slip by, tries to catch him, and doesn't believe that KNG wants to give up that 1v1 fight. But KNG, balls of steel, takes the peak and is rewarded for it.
An important flank from Fur there. He gets out through long so quickly that even though that play through the smoke is something that would catch a lot of people out in that position, luckily Fur, he comes in on long, he goes, okay, there's no one pushing me ramp, he has to be in the smoke, he has to be in spawn, and as a result, MIBR can easily isolate that kill. It's broken the money for Complexity. They may have won their first of the half, but instantly slapped back to pistols. Couple of deegs here and there. And now MIBR reaping the rewards of winning that previous round with SMGs. They've got everything they need and more. AWP still here for KNG as well. Solo B play on an anti-eco is risky, and so Fur's going to begin a rotation to join Taco inside of the site. They still have another man in middle as well to watch for that split, and KNG can assist if no one comes out through the doors. Fur trying to cross towards the right side there, play that one and done spot, but in an anti-eco you're often going to get more than one. Complexity, no utility to even really play a mid to B properly. It would leave them open to that CT spawn, so they're going to climb up on the catwalk instead and try and send numbers into this A site.
Yeah, and I mean, I like that, right? You can just play all 5 out on the catwalk and take this fight versus the site/car player. Now, in this instance, it's going to be Mayan. He hasn't been missing shots today. That's a little known fact. He's not missed a single one. So he's looking to make quick work of this push, but actually, he gets dropped almost immediately. Fallen and Taco trying to pick up the pieces, trying to stop this push from Complexity, and they're doing a pretty good job. BlameF is going to get finished off as well, and MIBR will be in with a 9th. 4 kills for Fallen. And another round now gracing the Brazilian side. Just 3 between them and Complexity. You know, you think about coming into this second half, it was 11-4 in favor of the Complexity squad. MIBR, they've done a great job of recovering. Can they continue, though?
Slow and steady wins a race, Harry. That's what MIBR have got to be saying to themselves. KNG, he's going to get flashed out on long here. That corner smoke coming through, and he does get a quick kill before retreating. Luckily, the smoke actually gives him a veil to fall back behind the car. He's going to play on top of it, risky. He's going to be fighting for his life here. But luckily, no one following up, no one capitalizing here as Complexity don't even cross towards the pit just yet. They take their sweet, sweet time, waiting for BlameF to check middle, make sure no one's pushed up. Is he lining up a smoke here by any chance? He's tucked into that corner. Complexity holding a stalemate for the time being. Molotov towards the car, just being methodical, clearing out positions as Blame still waits in the back line for a potential flank. MIBR not keen on the aggression, though. They'd rather just find out where this bomb is going. And Complexity haven't shown them that information just yet, but they're about to. And MIBR, here's the aggression coming in through tunnels. Both players pushing. They've now cleared out B. They know exactly what's going on. If they want, they can give away the A site and play for retake. But with the advantage, we might just see them stand tall and fight for their ground.
Yeah, look at Taco go. Look at the run he's going on. Running shoes tied up. And he's zipping into the back line of Complexity. 35 seconds on this clock. Complexity have got to make a move. The longer they wait, the more impactful this flank from Taco is going to be. And here it is, 25 seconds as the flashes, as the smokes go on in. Fallen trying to rise above it all, baby. Up here above the smoke, looking for the first kill. And with it, he's dropped the bomb. Now, hidden once again behind the veil. Lets his team pick up the pieces. Poison, woo, nice shot, but not enough. And MIBR are going to get a 10th. They'll reach double digits. They're getting closer and closer to tying this one up.
That's an example of how a round just goes perfectly for MIBR, right? Blame, he was so ready for that flank from B. He was holding, tucked in that corner. So B players coming in through T-Spawn wouldn't find him. But actually, the second he moves off of position is right when MIBR push into the tunnel. So not only do they have the info that Blame is trying to deny them, but they have a flank that can seal their fate once Complexity commit towards A. All the info is there for the Brazilians, and as a result, MIBR have found double digits. First pause for Complexity, they're realizing the pressure is slowly creeping back. As MIBR, they are getting back into the swing of things, Harry. This is not a done deal. This is not a swept over game despite that 11-4 first half. Complexity have only managed to field 1 round on this T side, and now they're on pistols.
And this could just be the full-on turnaround from MIBR. This could be it. Complexity starting to feel the pressure a bit now. There was a time, you know, where they're like force buying into this. Everyone's having a good time. You know, you've got that huge buffer. You're not even thinking about them catching up because it's so far away. It's so unrealistic. And now it's like, oh, damn, well, they have. And they are. You know, the wolves are at the door. KNG down here in mid, looking to get this trade, looking to keep things in favor of MIBR. Taco extending some control into these upper tunnels. It's a risky fight to take, and he knows it. He'll back up, especially with losing KNG in mid. That's opened up the mid to B, and Taco could be in for a world of hurt here. Fallen's tried to come in to save the day. How much can he do from CT? They turn around, they deal with him. So it's Taco or nothing here for MIBR, and the answer, well, it might just surprise you. It's nothing. Maya 1v3, it all to do, and a B-bomb site to retake. Does he even give this a go?
These were pistols, Harry. Pistols for Complexity. Fallen, he's trying to come in through that CT smoke, but Mayan doesn't have a flash for him. He didn't have the utility. And so, unfortunately for Fallen, as he pops in through that smoke, Complexity's flash above the B site pops. That's exactly where Fallen's looking. It wasn't intended to blind him, but that's the effect it has, and Fallen's rendered completely useless there in middle. Complexity getting away with a free AWP as well. Mayan will grab one, but at this point, that is, you know, not a positive position for MIBR. They just gave away a round to Deagles and light Kevlar. In some cases, no Kevlar. So 13 taken for Cole. And MIBR realizing that they aren't invincible after all. money, in fact, falling apart as well. Mayan can drop over a gun if they want to buy, but that's a bold, position to be in. If you buy here for MIBR and you lose this round, not only are you up against 14, but you have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, it's such a horrid spot to be in, right? Because on one hand, you look at this from MIBR, you look at that 11-4 half and what was, at one point in time that 7-12 scoreline. So like it was still looking so good for Complexity, and MIBR, they start to like build back in. They're starting to get that confidence back. Everything's looking up. There's a 10-12 scoreline. You're within 2 rounds of the opposition, and your blood's pumping. You're feeling good, and then you lose that one round, and suddenly your economy is gone. You have got nothing to play with in this one. They've bought what they can, as you say, Hugo, but it leaves them in this terrifying spot of just having to look at this game and go, yeah, it was an almost, but ultimately it fell apart in those final, couple of rounds.
Do or die right now for MIBR. Double AWP. Haven't seen much of this on this CT side, although it was what we expected. The money just hasn't been there, and it might not be there for much longer. Blame F is straight out through long. He's getting spammed through the smoke. They know he's here, and Taco's found him with the SMG, chipping away with a pea shooter. He's going to have to fall back, but it's still so many fights going down on long, and Poison will effectively trade. Another kill through a smoke as Obo takes down Taco. He had no chance to retreat, and Fallen lands a quick shot. That's the AWP gone, but so is he. Config catches him falling off the top of the site, and KNG is now alone.
Are we in a deathmatch server? All those fights go down in the opening 20 seconds at Dust Too Long, and now it's KNG, a man who has struggled all game long for MIBR, throwing into this clutch. He's got his weapon of choice, the AWP in hand. And 2 kills to find. He's seen 1. Is he ready for the man at car? Tag to Obo, but it's not enough. And Config bails his teammate out of danger. A 14th round for Complexity. And now that foreshadowing, that rather grim situation that we described at the beginning of this round, if MIBR lost it, well, that becomes a reality. The money is gone. Over for the MIBR CT side.
What an impressive game this is from Complexity. I mean, Poison, we already knew how good he was. He's at 22 frags right now. Mayan, he's been putting up numbers as well for MIBR, but it's not going to be enough. Got to give away 15 here. Pistols out. Fast cap fight for both sides, but no flashes means no one's blind. Complexity are waiting, and they will deal damage, deal death, and deal a 15th round. MIBR have got to make a full comeback only into overtime, only to start the rounds back over again. And to do it, Harry, not a lot. No AWP. Utility is going to be limited on some of these players as well. Even Kit's going to be at a question mark. Fallen's got 1, that's it.
Yeah, it's certainly not what you want, right? But when have Fallen's boys ever had the ideal in anything, right? They've always been facing that uphill battle throughout their careers. So this is the time, Hugo, where you draw on that and you make this kind of cobbled together, sloppy little buy yield you some results.
This is where Fallen's saying to his team, guys, if you think we are good, if you think we are the best, now we show it.
Yeah, that's the one. And
16-6.
Config over in mid, looking for the opening duel. MIBR this time, they haven't put anyone there. They actually don't have a man peeking that mid area. Instead, they've doubled up over here on the catwalk. They've actually tripled up. Oh. And that there could yield the results they were hoping for, but Poison, where 2 teammates failed, he's done enough. He's gotten it back into a 3-on-3. Obo gets dropped in mid in the meantime, and they start to rotate. It's all getting a bit confusing for MIBR. And in amongst the madness, in amongst this chaos, a Rapper's come in over towards long, and Rush has doubled down. Now it's Poison, 1v1 versus KNG. To decide if MIBR continue, it is David versus Goliath. Bottom of the board for MIBR in the form of KNG, and the top fragger in the server. Poison for Complexity. Bomb plant found. So little HP on Poison. KNG. Time's now against him. And MIBR's hopes, at least for this matchup, now rest on his shoulders.
Luckily, that Molotov thrown by Poison gives away the position of what site it is, so KNG can play off of the audio. It's coming up towards A. Poison. Oh, the timing is everything. He looks at the smoke, and KNG does find the kill. He saves it for MIBR. He keeps the train rolling. One more round at the very least as they find 11. I want to talk about a little gimmick there from Complexity. A really interesting way of taking cat control. They had 2 flashbangs up on short. There was a player playing close and aggressive. Complexity throw one flashbang that bounces on the corner. The player holding turns around, and as he looks back once that flash pops, another pop flash that doesn't bounce appears right in his face. He thinks he's dodged it, but the second he looks back, a second flash is in. That's a really nice way of baiting a player to turn around and look right back into your second flashbang. Nice play from Complexity, and an even better one for Poison. He may have not got that kill in the previous round, but he starts off this one with 1 down mid.
Oh, Rush continuing to open things up for Complexity, and they might have just said enough is enough. They let the clutch go the way of MIBR in the last round, but this time they've opened up quickly. And now, as they so often do, they've slowed it down a bit. They're looking to make MIBR sweat. They know that the pressure's on this CT side, right, to make a play, to try and recuperate some of these costs that they've thrown out towards long. But that's not going to come anytime soon. Poison dropped off down here in the pit. He's going to set up with that AWP, and getting an AWP in this position, so valuable, right? You can just lock down this entire avenue of the map. If you're MIBR, rotating through the crossroads, taking peeks from sites, these are all things that are off limits now. However, they've read this well. They've set up with 3 players over here towards the A bomb site, and they're not peeking into the AWP that lies in pit. KNG might be this first point of contact, and he gets dealt with. Now the push comes in.
Iron, he's got nothing to show either. First being spammed, it's done. Complexity killing through smoke, and they will find this first opening game here in Anaheim. 16 rounds to 11, not stopping at all, and they head to that upper bracket spot, able to take on Gen G as well later on. MIBR, a fall from grace to say the very least. They are not going to be able to show up today, but they still have a second chance to keep themselves in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they get it close, right? They get it looking better than it was at one point in time. But the real victory there goes the way of Complexity. You know, they look good. And as a 5-man unit, I feel like you had everyone showing up over on the Complexity side. And sadly, that just wasn't the case today for MIBR. But I'm hoping it's just a case of, you know, wrong time, wrong place for a few players over in the MIBR squad, and that tomorrow, where the games really do start to take a very different meaning, that's where we can see MIBR showing up in the capacity we were looking for.
Without a doubt, but Complexity, what a star performance as well, starting off today. You love to see it, right? We always wondered, are they going to be a one-hit wonder? That performance at Blast, can they repeat it? Can they be consistent? Well, that's certainly the start that we hope for here in Anaheim. We're going to have to see how they do on later as well. But first, we're going to throw it over to a quick break. We'll be back with the next matchup in just a moment.
Follow
So the boys in white and blue come out swinging in their first match of the day and pick up the victory over top of MIBR. It was a very strong start for Complexity, though. Like, that very easily could have been a landslide victory.
Yeah, I think I'm very confused. I thought the map would be heavily T-sided with the new updates. I honestly thought there would be a lot more nades thrown over the B wall. I'm confused, actually. I'm so confused as to what I just saw. But Complexity had some really solid A hits on their second half. It's gambly, I'm not gonna lie. It's not like the cleanest, most Astralis type hits, but everything is so thought out. You know, like there's 5 players rushing towards long A at the start of the round. Everyone has specific nades. There's not a lot of, reactivity, which is great for young players, right? Like that is why they have that system in place. So there's less decision making.
Less decision making, I think that's definitely the key, because you can certainly see how much depth this Complexity side has, and that's such a surprising compliment to give such a younger team. We talked about the Juggernaut coming in and, they threw the growing pains, the teething process completely out the window at Blast Premier. Are they going to be able to replicate that? And I think the depth that they showed, the backup plans of the backup plans, it bodes super well for Complexity. I'm so glad we got to witness it.
And then there's the bailout strategy. Just put everything on Poison's op.
Yeah.
Just let him do everything, because he looked fantastic throughout the season.
Dude, he's such a stud.
So good.
Yeah.
He's seriously so good.
It was actually unbelievable, like, watching him play, because I was like, when he first came into the roster, I thought, he's good, but I don't really know what to expect from him.
Yeah.
And he has definitely impressed and surpassed my expectations.
No one does what he did to Device at Blast Pro Series. No one. That's just like impossible. I don't even know how he did it. He destroyed him there.
Now, Potter, you have some replays for us that you wanted to call out.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight one of the great rounds that I saw coming out of MIBR, or so I thought. This was one of those rounds where they had an advantage 5 versus 3. You can see the mechanics coming out of Myron. And I thought this Dust 2 matchup was really strong for Myron. He had a lot of good looks and opportunities. But as you can see here, he gets those first 2 kills. It's a 5 versus 3 scenario. And Kanji decides, I'm going to wait for the reactions coming out of the Complexity side of things. But his mistake here was going a little bit too far. I think if he were able to rendezvous back up with his MIBR buddies, they have the advantages that they need. It's 5 versus 3, just power and numbers towards that A site. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if this was a lack of communication. I'm not sure if this was overthinking a scenario where they wanted to make sure they get those exit kills. They almost assumed they had that round in the bag. But man, when you're MIBR, those kinds of opportunities, you absolutely have to seize them, and they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't seize a couple opportunities, right?
Yeah.
There was the 1v2 with Blame in top A where he was 20 HP versus Taco and Fallen. They played it so well, so patiently. But the way they peaked him in the end to line up like that and just not even have a chance, that's just not a good sign, in my opinion. And then losing the mid-B rush, on the reset round where I think Complexity only had like pistols that round. And they got mid-B split cleanly and it was Mayon was left in a 1-on-3. And those are rounds that MIBR has to convert if they want to be a contender.
I think the silver lining, at least, is that Marin played well. Because we've seen him kind of underperform, and the expectation was that he would be a strong player coming into this roster.
I like that they let him have the freedom to push up mid aggressively, right? Typically, Fur would be in that role. Even when Phelps was on the team, right? When Phelps was that aggressive player that came into MIBR, past iterations of the team, they took that role away from him and kept it with Fur. I like that they're letting Mayern take that aggressive role and push up mid.
I have to agree. That was definitely one of MIBR's, cruxes, was the fact that they never really understood how to capitalize on Phelps, how to capitalize on these great individually skilled performers. So it is good for Mayern.
Well, we do have Rush standing by, so we're just going to skip on over to the couch.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
I'm good.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
I'm going to hop into a time machine here for a second.
Sure. Enlighten me.
Going back to that old Cloud9 roster, the Boston victory, things kind of obviously went the way that they did. Looking at the team now, are you seeing any comparisons between this team and that team and maybe a trajectory of success?
I think the teams are highly different in terms of we have way more defined roles. I don't know. I feel like we actually are putting in more time in this team than any other team I've ever played on.
Really?
So in and out of game. So I think that helps tremendously. I think Cloud9, we had a lot of raw talent, and that's kind of why we like had our runs, you know, because we were all peaking and we were all coming really well. And I think that's why we had a lot of ups and downs, is because we were kind of like relying on the raw skill. But I think with this team, I think we could have more consistency because just like of the amount of time we put in and just the more defined roles, like I said.
Okay. Sean, Potter, you guys have some questions as well?
Yeah, mine is about, I guess, like the team composition right now. So I noticed that on publicly, like in interviews and even, you know, when they show you guys, you're very close-knit, like tight as a team. Is that because you guys live all close together and you're, you know, the Complexity headquarters? It seems like everything has clicked really quickly, though, with your 5 players.
I mean, it might seem that way, but we've definitely had our ups and downs. We had a month-long boot camp in Copenhagen, and it was honestly really bad. Like, we learned a lot about ourselves, and maybe that helped. Maybe that we grew from that. But there are definitely a lot of downs, and obviously there's some ups lately, but we didn't even qualify for the major, so that obviously sucks a lot. But I think this team has a ton of potential. I think the most potential out of maybe any roster I've ever played on. So I think that in itself keeps us going, and I think that we're trying to get past things like the language barriers, for example. Like, that's a big thing, and I think we're getting better at that every day. So I think that's going to take time, maybe 6 months to get like fully like integrated. But I think overall, I'm really happy with this team.
I wanted to ask you about the roles that you mentioned in the question before. You said that you thought that the roles were very defined on this Complexity side, and we can absolutely see that. What do you think what is your role to describe? Because your resurgence coming into 2020 has been phenomenal to watch. I mean, just looking back in 2019, you were pretty quiet throughout the whole year. How is this role on this new Complexity side making you such a beast in that server?
You're calling me out? Okay. No, I have a support role, and I have some hard spots, but I think that I've said it many times before, but like I think I play really well in structure. I think the amount of time also put in helps a lot. Like, I'm not going to say I didn't put in time before, but definitely I'm putting a lot more now. And I think that it's kind of like it was a wake-up call when I left Cloud9 for sure. So I think that having a lot of structure, working hard, like this environment of working hard, it's definitely making me peak more individually, but I think also I'm embracing that role more. I think the more I play it, the more comfortable I am with being like the support alert player and or anchor as well. And I enjoy every spot I have right now. So
DreamHack Open Stages have long played host to players who are at the start of a rising career, looking specifically at, say, Zywoo with Vitality. Poison just had a fantastic game. Is that the low end of the ceiling? Should we expect a similar rise?
Yeah, Val's insane. I think like you got a good glimpse of it in Blast versus like Astralis, for example. Like, he played insane. I mean, the whole weekend played insane, but I think that yeah, the sky's the limit for him, honestly, as an opper, and I think that he's only going to get better every day and every month.
Well, I hope you are correct, because it was really exciting to watch.
Thanks.
Congratulations again on the win. We'll go ahead and let you go. We are going to be jumping into our next match after the break. It's going to be Furia versus North to see who's going to be moving on into the playoffs. Stay tuned.